The clock is ticking for a dozen activists holding fasts on the National Mall to push for immigration reform. Those fasters are trying to press the House to take up immigration legislation this year, but the House is only in for 4 more days, and prospects are dim, with Speaker Boehner not backing off from his statement that he won't take up the bill passed by the Senate before the end of the year. Let me bring in Congressman Mark Takano, Democrat from California, who held a 24-hour fast last Friday in solidarity with the activists, and Eliseo Medina with Fast for Families, an organizer and secretary-treasurer of the Service Employees International Union. Good to see both of you. Good morning.
Good morning, Chris.
Eliseo, you were one of 4 activists who went 22 days without eating. Why? And are you seeing any indication that it's having an impact?
Well, Chris, the reason we went on this fast is because we wanted to call attention of the American people and of the Congress to the moral crisis facing our nation. You know, every year 460-something odd people die in the desert trying to come to the United States. This month it'll have been 2 million people have been deported from our country. Now, behind these numbers, there's real human beings, people who have dreams and hopes and want to build a better future for themselves and their families. And so the reason we went on this fast is we wanted to dramatize the moral crisis that our country is facing. And I think that we have touched the heart of America. They have responded. They have come to our tent. They have brought us flowers. They have brought us their best wishes, because they know that we need to fix this broken immigration system. And we hope that eventually we will also touch the heart of Speaker Boehner so that he does call a vote in order to end this human suffering.
Congressman, do you see any chance of that happening, however? I mean, as I said, you were one of the lawmakers who held a 24-hour fast as a continuation of the Fast for Families, and clearly all that drew attention, but is it drawing change?
Well, I'm heartened by some, I think, cracks in the door, or the door is cracked open slightly when Speaker Boehner hired a staffer with background in immigration, and he hasn't closed down completely the possibility of passing some forms of immigration on a piecemeal basis, immigration reform. It's obviously not enough. We need comprehensive immigration reform. I can tell you that my own 24-hour fast reminded me of the struggles of my grandfather, who came to this country as an 18-year-old in 1916. There were laws against his naturalization. There were laws against him buying land. But because of his hard work, I am a United States congressman. But, you know, Eliseo pointed to the moral and spiritual dimensions of this crisis with comprehensive immigration reform not being passed. But we need to pass it because not only will it make us feel better as Americans, but we'll be better off as a country economically. You know, we'll add a growth rate from 4.5% to 6.1%, a huge jump, 6.1% in our gross domestic product. If we pass a comprehensive immigration reform, that's a huge jump in growth, and it's also a huge gain for America's workers.
Eliseo, what else do you think can be done? And I'm wondering what you think about how the president has responded to all of this. He did come and visited you along with the First Lady during the fast. On the other hand, he has been criticized for his deportation record for 11.5 million undocumented immigrants. There's been some talk about trying to push him to use his executive powers. What would you like to see the president do?
Well, first of all, let me just say how grateful we are for the president's support. He's been steadfast in his commitment to immigration reform. But I do think that all of us have to think is, what is our role in fixing this broken immigration system? I think the president has previously said that he wants the Department of Homeland Security to focus on criminals, not everyday workers who just want to go to work and take care of their families. And I think if they do that, if they exercise their prosecutorial discretion, then it will take care of about 70–80% of the problem of people being deported, leaving their families behind. But at the end of the day, you know, in order to end this deportation policies, we need immigration reform. And I think the Speaker, sooner or later, will have to understand that the American people demand an answer, they deserve an answer, and we deserve to have an immigration policy that would be worthy of our nation of immigrants.
Fast for Families organizer Eliseo Medina, California Congressman Mark Takano, thank you both for being with us.
Thank
My
you,
pleasure.
Chris.